Welcome back to Case Closed, Anime Review, episode 129. This I'm viewing the 1016th episode of the series, Monorail Sniper Case, Part 2. Okay, so we kind of pick up where last week left off, where we have Conan, Takagi, and Mori at the Tutu marketplace looking for the guy, and of course the call away. Well, look at the call because some guy in the parking lot who got attacked last episode. I thought the guy was killed. No, he just got knocked unconscious by being knocked out with a freaking wrench. Where apparently the culprit decided to steal the man's clothes and his keys, but not his wallet for some reason. Yeah, there's no explanation for that. It just basically, it's like this whole. I'll get to more of that in a minute, basically, when I finish discussing the episode. So, and of course, he asked the most obvious question, like, what clothes were we wearing? Didn't remember at all. Wearing blue. Oh, yeah, the keys he stole were keys to his turret truck. Yes, that is what they call these things, a turret truck. Which to me looks like almost like a backwards forklift. That's what it looks like to me. Now you might be asking, have I seen these things in person? No, I've seen forklifts. Yeah, I've seen those in person. But my guess is just Japan. Oh yeah, and apparently that this case, there was this guy who was, apparently there was this like suspect of it, and related to basically armed an armored truck robbery case, like roughly about a few months prior to this episode. And by the way, I should point this out though. I have seen this also in Super Sentai. Apparently, transports there when they transport money, it looks like a normal van they transport in. Here is a freaking armored truck where it's basically like big metal, bulletproof, up the wazoo. And also, here's the thing though about basically our I've actually seen people basically who work for because of my work. We actually have someone comes in. Yeah, these guys they're basically covered in body armor, and also these guys carry a freaking gun. Of course, I've never seen exactly a gun pulled out though, but I've seen the fact these guys carry a gun. Yes, these guys were bulletproof vests. But in the case, apparently, the way this presented here in this episode, apparently the Japanese security guards who the transports, they apparently don't wear body armor for some reason. I'm talking about like wearing like a bulletproof vest and look like they're ready to go to war while basically transporting cash. And it's also revealed that apparently the cash that was kept there was worth 100 million yen in cash. And why it was, and of course they investigate one guy for potentially being one of the suspects be behind the robbery. Turns out they removed from the suspect list because he actually had a verified alibi. Like, okay, do they actually go investigate it? Not really, no. It's like another red herring. So we see the guy is like he transported it someplace, and they figured, okay, where would be this other place, basically where to go? Oh yeah, there's an abandoned building, like not far where they are. Why the heck this building is abandoned? Don't know. They go appear to be like a rooftop, and and apparently the locks open up, and they pull the thing open like it's a freaking casket. And look, a hidden staircase. Gotta love these things. They go down, and apparently they also go down a ladder. Which how did they switch from a stairs to a ladder? Don't know. And we see the culprit looks like he's taking a knife, and he looks like he's about to cut up his victim for something. And he's interrupted by the police, and then he fakes shooting himself. Well, he did hurt himself, but on purpose. And we see that he actually, like, probably got wounded. Of course, Conan notices the body there. Oh, yeah, and by the way, the police is there. They're let a wild goose chase over the fact that this guy lied about being attacked. He basically did it himself. So it looks like he transported via ambulance. He thinks he got away with it, but then apparently the ambulance just didn't go anywhere. It came right back, and he's wondering what the heck is going on. So it's kind of explained, it's kind of hinted that he may have been involved with the armored truck robbery, which they mentioned later. And the fact this guy works for a bank. He also apparently is on a paid vacation. Yep, he's on paid leave. Where he told his coworkers he's going to Taiwan. Wow, going to Taiwan, going to that tiny island country. Who some people were there was a long period of time Taiwan was considered the real China over the communist China. That's Taiwan for you. Yep. So then of course Moore gets knocked unconscious, and thanks to Conan's little investigation. Yeah, it turns out though, and of course Conan sent Takagi a message about the victim's name, which of course nobody mentioned the name until apparently the guy slipped up and said the guy's name. His name was Ayu. Ayu 2, I think his name was. Yeah, according to the theory, these two did participate in the bank robbery, and apparently the guy kept all the money instead of split in half like apparently the way these things were supposed to work. He ends up accidentally shooting him, while also accidentally shooting a man on the monorail, which that was just by pure coincidence. And it's kind of hinted that he was also responsible for the exploding car, knock out the woman. Yes, knocking him out, and yeah. And eventually, yep, they confirm that he was behind everything, gets arrested, and then the episode ends basically with Conan and Moore going getting Robin, despite the fact Conan wanted to get sushi. Yeah. Man, this episode, oh my gosh. It's like, this resolution was so forced. They just had to solve it. The mystery was kind of good, and then it's like, okay, so apparently that the culprit is a clumsy idiot. Oh yeah, by the way, he's knocked out via Conan's little soccer ball and power shoes. Yep. By far, one of the most weakest two-parters I've seen the whole entire series so far. But looking up next week, we're actually going to start a case, which was also, get this, 2 years ago, this was in fact the very first arc I reviewed for this interview series. Yep, it was the very first one I reviewed. And now we're finally getting to it. After finishing up all the other stuff I did read this stuff, I didn't review it at the time. But yeah, now we're following this stuff I had previously reviewed, which is going to be great for next week. But yeah, this two-parter is almost like a nothing thing. It just... Oh yeah, Kava briefly appears in the episode. Basically gives some details, but that's simply it. This episode felt like it was basically a rushed episode. This episode had to be rushed to conclusion. And we had these other things just added for some reason. I guess they figured, though, let's just wrap this up. I almost kind of felt this over this one. It's like this two-part was written by two different people. Like, someone wrote part 1, and part 2 was... Part 2 was written by somebody else. That's what it seemed like to me. Okay, so that's the particular view. I would do Baruto, but it's getting kind of late, so I'm going to save it for tomorrow. Yeah, another time, basically, where I had to basically do Baruto the day after I was supposed to do it. Yep. And since I expect to get a day off tomorrow, that's the reason I'm doing this right now. So expect to see the Baruto review tomorrow, and I should hopefully do Super Sentai tomorrow. Okay, next video. Bye.